and President Tej, Board of Governors, and fellows from the Thane Royals Club. We extend a warm welcome to our Rotarian and non-Rotarian guests. We hope you will have a memorable hour or so of learning, sharing all under the banner of fellowship, and be able to take back your experiences, clubs, organizations, or activity groups. Later on in the program, we'll give time to Rotarians to introduce themselves and opportunity for you to give us some information about your clubs and or your activities. We have a packed program this afternoon that includes 2 or even 3 toasts. This means you will need a glass, a mug, a cup, and a beverage of your choice. I trust you've all had a good lunch. If not, make it a late lunch this afternoon. Finally, this meeting is being recorded. If you do not want your image to be on the recording, please turn off your camera. Similarly, if you do not want your name to appear on the recording, please replace your name with the name of your club or organization. Thank you. I will now ask President Tej Singh Ahedi to read out the 4-way test.
Tej will get some time to join. I request Secretary Umesh Patel to read out the format.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Umesh, you are muted. Kindly unmute.
Umesh, you're muted. Right. You're on.
Screen कर लो ना एक बार से.
Yeah, Umesh,
Just
please.
a second. Screen share कर लो ना एक बार.
Yes, please do the 4-way test.
Just a second.
Yeah, Umesh.
And join me in reading the 4-way test. So the 4-way test goes here. Of the things we think, say, and do, first, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you.
Thank you to you, Umesh. Our speaker this afternoon is Jannine Birtwistle, and the talk will be the Rotary Polio story, the Rotary Polio story. Jannine joined the Rotary family in 1994. It goes that Jannine was apparently blown away with the activities and projects of Rotary worldwide, especially the commitment to eradicate polio. This has been and remains her long-standing passion. Jannine is a member of the Foundation and Humanitarian Service teams at Rotary GB&I, and joins in finding ways to help Rotarians to fundraise and advocate for End Polio Now, and has continued this platform to address this challenge. The eradication of polio in Africa has been especially topical in Rotary circles and indeed globally over the past week or so. The timing is therefore perfect for us as a collective to reflect on our progress and get an insight into additional actions to achieve our goals. We're therefore grateful to have you, Jannine, to give the talk. And before you take the floor, I will ask everyone to welcome you with a round of applause. Thank you. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you very much. What an amazing meeting to be part of. I think there's probably many people here that know an awful lot more about our polio campaign than I do. But I hope that the applause at the beginning doesn't mean that you're not going to be happy at the end. So let's see what we can do. I'd like to share my screen, if I may. There we go. Can you all see that? So that's me. My passion, in fact, my second passion in Rotary is the polio program. Both my husband Paul and I, our first passion is actually peace and the work that's done by Rotary clubs in our communities all over the world for peace building. And we often don't realise that we are, but that's a subject of another talk. So polio, I mean, what a week, as you said, Andrew, you know, 25th of August, the certification of the WHO African region being wild polio free. And that really is a reason to celebrate. And I think we're not good as Rotarians of celebrating and telling people about the successes, because there are so many successes. And for me, this map says it all. You know, that's where we were when we started, in the top left-hand corner, as we all know. And that is where we are now. And I'm absolutely delighted that we have only got 2 countries left that are orange, showing the 2 countries where polio is endemic. As you are all aware, it's Afghanistan and Pakistan. But despite the successes, despite where we were with the WHO African region, which is shown here in yellow, we do only have one of those regions left now where we have still got wild polio, and that is in the Eastern Mediterranean region, which is that funny sort of bluey green, which actually is where Afghanistan and Pakistan form part of. But there is so much work to be done in keeping the countries that are polio free that way, and of course dealing with the outbreaks of vaccine-derived polio. So on the back of the celebrations about the African region being wild polio free, there's something that we need to remember, that it is only by us working together that we can end polio. And having such an audience today with so many people from so many different clubs and countries is tremendous, because that's the strength of Rotary, is that we do work together, we do network with each other. And one of those benefits of COVID, sadly, is actually we're connecting even more than we ever have. But it's about getting rid of polio. You know, if we can wipe one virus off the face of the earth, what an amazing success. But by working together, it's at every single level. And of course, we are part of the Polio Global Eradication Initiative. It was Rotary's dream of a polio-free world. We have been there right from the outset, along with UNICEF, the World Health Organization, CDC, and of course governments of the world. And in more recent years, we've obviously got the Gates Foundation very much part of that, and very much helping Rotary in particular, where every pound we raise, up to $50 million a year, is actually worth 3, which is a tremendous incentive when we're talking to people in our communities. Because although we're trying to raise at least $50 million a year, even though the whole program takes about $1 billion a year, every single pound can literally save a life. So whether you're talking to children in primary schools, or polio survivors from whatever country, or people that have known polio survivors, or indeed know polio people who have been victims to polio and are no longer with us. And now we've also got Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, working with us. And that's at a very top level. You know, Rotary is very much the heart and soul of this program, and we mustn't forget that, and we need to be telling people that. COVID, you know, we're all having to live with it, and I live in Guernsey. We're extremely lucky. We've only had just over 250 cases. We've only had 13 deaths, and we have now been living over 110 days without a single case. But that isn't the case all over the world, and COVID has had huge implications for the polio program as well. The polio program has been phenomenally successful in helping with the COVID response in many countries. And it is essential that polio does continue to play its part. You know, it's played its part in previous situations, such as dealing with the outbreak of Ebola several years ago in Nigeria. The polio response, the polio workers, the polio systems really knocked that on the head very, very quickly. Yellow fever, the workers in Pakistan, the polio program, working Rotarians and Coca-Cola, providing clean water and sanitation to thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. You know, there are so many benefits. And in the COVID response, you know, many of the polio workers, the systems, the laboratory network, etc., have been critical in the COVID response in a number of countries and will continue to be so. But let's celebrate the successes that we have here in our own clubs and wherever you are. Today's meeting is with people from all over the place. Well, let's all celebrate, you know, this friendship exchange that you're talking about. Why not have a special celebration recognizing the polio successes? Any of your activities, including today's talk, which I will put onto this map, you know, please tell us about it so that we can make sure that our map is full of polio related activities. The more we know about, the more you're using on the power of social media and the media generally, the more you're using hashtag Purple for Polio, End Polio Now, the more you're linking it to, the more impact we have. And, you know, I've said that we are looking to raise 50 million at least a year. We scraped by. At the end of June, it was thanks to several significant donors around the world and a lot of help from clubs like yours and mine, making sure their polio monies were paid away. We scraped through and we didn't reach the 50 million target. And the importance of that is because it's only by reaching 50 million that we will get the 100 million from the Gates Foundation. If we only raise 40 million, we're going to only get 80 million. And, you know, the figures are the same. So, you know, it's really, really important that we work together to raise that and take it back down to that level of £1 or a 20 pence piece. It is enough to save that life. Here in Great Britain and Ireland, we have a fundraising target of $55 per Rotarian. Sadly, we don't reach it. Sadly, around 50% of clubs don't support polio at all in these islands anymore. But we need to, because it is only by working together. You know, the COVID response has seen in our own clubs, in our own communities and globally, that it is only by working together that you can actually deal with something like this. So let's finish what we started. Let's make sure that Rotary is absolutely there at the end. Advocacy requests that come through to us from time to time, make sure you use them. Take opportunities to liaise with your local politicians. Your European politicians know more for many of us, but you know, the advocacy at every level, we need to help make sure that our politicians at every level know that we as Rotarians really care that we finish this job and that people help us to do so. And it isn't just something for your foundation people or your polio people, it's something for everyone. The Rotary Polio story is really something that can help you retain members, get new members, get young people involved. All faiths, all cultures, everybody has a role to play in eradicating polio off the face of the earth. There are a number of suggestions that are available through the Rotary GBI website. I'd be happy to talk to you about any of them. We also look forward to receiving details of things that you have, ideas you have. And at the moment, I'm really keen to receive high resolution photographs and captions of things that you've already done. Because on World Polio Day, sorry, let me go back to the photos in a second. One of the things that we are doing at the moment is on the 24th of September, so that's exactly 1 month before World Polio Day, we are going to have in Great Britain and Ireland the launch of the End Polio Goal Challenge. This is a local thing where it's about throwing something into a goal, hitting a target. It could be a piece of paper screwed up on your desk that you throw into the waste paper basket, absolutely anything. launching it on the 24th of September, run whenever you want, pick a challenge, choose what you're going to do, film it. It could only be 2 or 3 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever. Film what you're doing. Post it on social media with the hashtag End Polio Goal Challenge, and then nominate 3 people. So linking to that, one person, £1, £3, one person nominates 3 people. And then, of course, encourage people to donate. But it'd be a fun way of actually spreading the word, raising some money, and it can be for people of all ages, any form of social media, get people involved. So will you encourage the people in your club to take the challenge, and your community and your families, and indeed the other clubs that are part of your friendship exchange? If you don't donate through to the Rotary GBI arrangements, then get people to donate to their own clubs. Let's really spread the word. World Polio Day itself, we are going to have an online event at 5:30 to 6:30. It's going to be a celebration of the past, present and future of the Rotary polio story. And it's aimed at anybody, Rotarians and non-Rotarians of every age. And it's in relation to that I really want your high resolution photographs of any of the activities that you've done, please. I joined your club a couple of weeks ago when Suzanne Ray from World's Greatest Meal, one of the co-founders with Mukesh, joined you for the meeting. Suzanne and I have worked together closely for a number of years. And one of the things that we were keen to do was to have something that promoted World's Greatest Meal much more widely across Great Britain and Ireland, so that more clubs actually participated. And what we did was we've introduced a couple of years ago, Fill Your Plate for Polio. But this is only around Rotary Day, the 23rd of February. So that day, the few weeks either side of it, all of the events that you do get reported to the World's Greatest Meal, but it's a way of actually having a concerted effort. And what a great way. I mean, perhaps you could use Africa as one of your themes for Fill Your Plate for Polio for this year. And it can also link into the Peace Centre that's being launched at the Makerere University in Uganda in February, the first intake of the Rotary Peace Certificate programme there. It is only by working together that we can end polio. If you don't know of polio survivors in your area, reach out to Colin Powell in the middle of this photograph at this email address. Colin is a Rotarian, a polio survivor, and a key member of the British Polio Fellowship. I liaise with him, working between Rotary and the Fellowship. There are people with polio who are struggling because of COVID. Struggling because they're still reluctant to go out, struggling because they haven't got anybody to talk to. If you want to help them, reach out to Colin. He will reach out to find out if there's anybody in your area that you could help. There's lots of practical things that you can do in or out of lockdown. We're going to be launching some initiatives for young people around Rotary Polio Bear, who you can see at the back here. My husband Paul and I run the End Polio Now shop for my own club, the Guernsey Club, and we sell all sorts of things to support you in your activities, including the clothing, the bears, the pens, the balloons, all sorts of things. And we are going to be launching, and I should have got it out of my drawer before we started, but I didn't. We're going to be now selling End Polio Now Rotary wristbands. Fully recyclable, they're made from recyclable materials, adjust to any size with a wooden bead. Bear in mind that no children under 3 because of the wooden bead that comes off. Another way of raising awareness and raising money. Wednesday the 16th of September, I'm absolutely delighted we're going to be having our next polio webinar, and that's open to anybody from anywhere. And the speakers will be Dr. Pascal Makanda from the WHO, who is responsible for the polio eradication programme in Africa, and Dr. Tunji Funcho, who is our Rotary Nigerian Polio Plus Committee lead. And both of them are obviously extremely well versed in the situation in Africa. They will be highlighting the successes, but also the challenges to keeping that success, keeping Africa polio free, dealing with the vaccine-derived outbreaks, and why it is so important that we keep going. There's lots of ideas around. There's lots of initiatives that clubs are doing that other clubs can help. So share what initiatives you're doing, what ideas you've got, what problems you've got that we can help you to overcome, what we're not doing to support you. Because at the end of the day, Great Britain and Ireland Polio team are here to help you and to support you in your districts in what you're doing and how you're doing it. So that polio team is myself, Derek Rothwell from our region is our End Polio Now coordinator, Keith Paver from the north, and we've got Eve, who you know well. Eve is on the Countdown Campaign Committee, and Judith Diamond from the advocacy. We're all here to help. We all want to support you in helping to end this horrid virus once and for all. But it is only by us pulling together that we can do so. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to stop screen sharing. I'm very happy to take any questions. I'm very conscious you've got a very full agenda, so I won't be offended if you need to move on. So you've got my contact details. Anytime I can help with anything, I'd be very, very pleased to do so.
Thank you very much, Jannine. We come to the question and answers or question or comments section. I would ask Rotarian Suresh and Rotarian Umesh to help, because we've got a lot of people here, go through, I'll pick out who wants to ask a question or make a comment. Now, if you're not able to put your hand up for us to see you, please put in your question on the chat and that will help pick them up. So, questions. Any questions for Jannine?
President Philip from Tema Meridian had a question.
Go ahead.
President Philip, please go ahead.
Raise the hand.
We can't hear him.
No.
Can we come back to him?
Yeah, sure. We need.
I don't know what it is about here. This is the district governor.
Yes. He had raised the hand, so no problem. We can move ahead.
Yeah.
President Patrick, kindly ask your question.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Jannine. It's a pleasure to be here in the midst of all those great Rotarians. We are thankful to Rotary for ensuring that Nigeria recently joined the League of Nations who are polio free. Last week we had our certification, and it's all thanks to the work of Rotarians the world over. So my question is this. We're in a bit of a unique situation where we have this certification, and we're kind of worried about if Jannine can throw light as to how we can maintain this polio-free status. Because if it's a critical moment, if we don't continue what we're doing, or if we do the wrong things, we may move back to having outbreaks and all that, especially in this COVID period. So I don't know if she has a word or two for us, if there are things we can learn from other countries who have been certified polio-free and what they were able to do to keep that status as it is.
Thank you, Patrick. Great question. And actually, that's something that every Rotarian needs to realise is an issue. And, you know, if you look at the more recent materials from India, and obviously we've got Rotarians here from India, you know, the messaging changed to keep India polio free, you know, keep Africa polio free. Just because we're free of wild polio, that doesn't mean that we can take our foot off the accelerator. In fact, we need to put the foot more on the accelerator, because we're going to have to work harder, to raise the money that's necessary, not just through Rotary, but globally through all the other contributors as well to the campaign. We need to help to make sure that our communities realise that it isn't over. You know, we have to keep the immunisation levels up as high, if not higher, than they were before. And now you've got the COVID situation in relation to that as well. You know, it is an added complication. Our last polio webinar was with Dr. Zubair Wadoud on the, in July. He's from the WHO, and he is responsible for the operations globally for the polio workers, the COVID response, and for other immunizations, because COVID isn't just having an impact on the polio program, it is also having an impact on other immunizations as well. I highly recommend that if you haven't watched that webinar, you do so. It's available on YouTube. You can go to the End Polio GBI Facebook page and you can get a link from there to that webinar. You know, it is absolutely critical. So actually, I'd welcome ideas from all of you. How can we make sure that Rotarians realise it's not over? We are still having to immunise over 400 million children every single year in around 50 countries, multiple times. And we need to work with our communities to make sure that they bring their children for vaccinations, and ever more so in Africa. You know, it's a double-edged sword. It's fantastic celebration, but actually it can also, unless we work hard at Rotarians with our communities at home and globally, people will get the wrong impression that they don't have to worry about it anymore. We have to work together.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Could I just have a request to you? You know, it's fantastic to have this international audience like this. I would very much welcome ideas, comments, thoughts about what we can do in our own clubs and in our own districts to help going forward. So I'm not asking for it now, but you've got my contact details. I really genuinely would like to hear. And I genuinely like, particularly internationally, if there's things that I've said during my presentation you think are wrong or could be improved, or why haven't I said that, I would also welcome constructive feedback on that, because it is by, you know, us working together. And Patrick, you know, clearly any input you've got in relation to Nigeria, and how can we reach out to our communities? For me, Fill Your Plate for Polio is ideal to reach out to communities, because it doesn't matter where they are. If they're connected to Africa or connected to India or Pakistan, families that are still there, they can influence people going for vaccinations for their children. You know, we can all take responsibility.
We have Valerie from Rotary Club of Wembley wanting to ask a question. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you for the good presentation and having this global audience. But the question I want to ask, it might seem a bit basic, but I wish to ask if I wish to introduce in my club first to make like some links in Africa to follow up, because as you've stressed, though the certification is there, I mean, I'm from Sierra Leone, I've seen the certification, but I'm really not sure that everyone has that record, they're polio free, and to maintain it. So if I want to initiate something, how can I go about through Rotary International or yourself to get any support that I can bring to my club? Thank you.
It depends what sort of support you want, Valerie, but I'm very happy to have a conversation with you offline to explore what it could be. You know, connections with Sierra Leone, get in touch with Rotary clubs there, to a bit like the Friendship Exchange has happened here. You know, why not have a Fill Your Plate for Polio activity with both clubs involved? You know, even if there isn't actually food, you know, if there's a problem with food, it doesn't have to be about food. You can do Fill Your Plate for Polio where your plate is empty, and what a major photo that would take, with all of you showing an empty plate and a piece of money because you've donated money instead of filling your plate. What a great Zoom picture that would take, with every one of you holding that empty plate and some cash for polio. You know, there's lots of things, but I'm very happy to talk separately, Valerie, if, to help.
Okay, well, I'll be happy to have that conversation. Thank you. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody.
EP Manoj Bhatt has raised the hand. Manoj Bhatt, please kindly unmute yourself.
Thank you, PV Vijay. Jenny, I'm past President Manoj from Rotary Club of Surabaya, Central Indonesia. First of all, what a lovely presentation, and I hope we can keep it like this for polio. But as history has shown us, human beings have a very short memory, and I presume that as soon as a few years pass by without any polio cases, it might again go on the back burner and everybody forgets about it. Same like what happened in case of the Spanish flu. We forgot that there could be a pandemic, and today we are facing such a big problem. Maybe we could make it from the level of immunization on the ground level. Maybe Rotary can take up this project to get compulsory vaccination done at the government levels. Would it be one thing which, if it is made mandatory, it could in the long run make people remember that there used to be polio, which has been eradicated, rather than it is simply springing up from time to time in different places. Because polio cases may have gone down, the virus still exists in the environment. That's very important lesson we need to learn. So the only way it can be done is perhaps by getting the governments in every country to start giving rulings that hospitals must vaccinate children for polio. Thank you.
Thanks, Manoj. Several things there. I don't know if you're aware, but there is something called international health emergency, and the status of both polio and COVID is that they are both international emergencies. And that status for polio is reviewed every 3 months and has been for several years now. And part of that is that it can require compulsory vaccinations for people moving between borders. Because, you know, for instance, one of the problems in Afghanistan and Pakistan is at one point we were at the point where there was no circulating virus in Afghanistan, but it was the movement across the border that caused the problem. As far as making vaccinations compulsory in every country, I don't think it's something that we as Rotarians can necessarily be influencing. But what we can be influencing is the uptake of those vaccinations, because that's equally as important. And with regard to the point you made about it's circulating in the environment, the wild polio actually outside of the body doesn't actually survive very long. You're talking a matter of weeks maximum. One of the legacies of the polio program is a vast laboratory network that does environmental sampling, sewage and water across the globe. So for instance, it was that network that picked up that during the Olympics, the Rio Olympics, there was polio virus circulating in the sewage. Several years ago, it picked up that in one of the cities in Australia, the virus was circulating in the sewage. Now, the important thing is if that virus doesn't have a host who it can infect, because every host is immune, it's not going to survive. So that's a really important aspect of it. And once we knock wild polio on the head everywhere for at least 3 years, and that doesn't mean just every single person that gets polio, but it also means that every single environmental sample globally for at least 3 years is negative, it's only then that the whole world will be declared wild polio free. Now, the vaccine-derived polio arises in very, 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 very few cases, but the problem is that it can circulate in an under-immunized population. And that's when it can keep circulating, and that's when it can eventually mutate after about 18 months, 2 years, can eventually mutate into a virus that will cause paralysis or even death again. And we have to deal with that as well. But if we can knock wild polio out, that will mean that the circulating vaccine-derived polio will no longer be an issue, because the vaccine, there's two vaccines we give: oral vaccine, which has got the live virus, weakened form of the live virus in it, and then the injectable vaccine, which is a genetically modified, not genetically, it's a manufactured polio virus, which can't impact on someone. The injectable one will only immunize the person who actually gets that injection, because it works through the bloodstream. The oral vaccine actually works on the gut, and that's how it can then be passed out through the fecal route. So it's an oral fecal transmission. And by actually having both of those, we have to have both of them to be able to deal with outbreaks and deal with it in areas of poor sanitation. But once wild polio is wiped out altogether, that oral vaccine will no longer be required. So you won't have that problem. And later this year, we are anticipating a new polio vaccine being launched, funded by research by the Gates Foundation. It's taken over 11 years for this vaccine to be developed. We anticipate it being okayed for use, and 2 million doses becoming available this year. It's a novel oral polio vaccine, which will stop the vaccine-derived polio outbreaks as well. So there's massive things going on. You know, I'm very conscious of your time. There's a lot that's happening, and it all sort of pieces together.
Right. That's really good. Just one observation. Maybe the first world doesn't realize that most of the third world countries, the sewage is handled still by human intervention. There are people who go into sewers to clear up the clogged sewage pipes. That is one of the most most dangerous areas, because these people come from poor families. They have a lot of children around them, and I don't know whether I'm sure they are not always desanitized after they go inside the sewages. They go home. They really can carry the virus with them. So if in those countries it is made mandatory to vaccinate all children who are born, maybe it could be one way we can save a lot of effort and funds in the future.
Thank you, Manoj. I will pass that on to my contacts at the WHO for any particular comments that they want to make on it, and I will make sure that's included in some feedback to Rotarians in due course.
Thank you for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others, Vijay?
No, I can't see anybody else raising hand. If anybody else wishes to ask, kindly raise your hands, please.
Nandini?
Yeah, Nandini wants to ask a question. Nandini, kindly unmute and please.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. What I would like to say that it's very good to have polio vaccination and everything being done, but the children in poverty who don't have good meal, they don't develop immunity. Even if you give the injection, if the nutrition is not there, it doesn't work. So we have to think about in developing countries or poor countries, the children get fed well so that they can develop good immunity, and then this vaccine will work. And also local hygiene and drainage system, which is in India, is not everywhere.
I didn't catch the last thing that you said, the system.
Yeah, they know proper system of disposal of sewage.
Oh, fine. Thank you.
And they are not in the pipes. They're just open.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And when it rains, it goes all over the place. And
Yes.
And in summer, when it's very hot, it all becomes dry, and the wind takes them to different people, and they have to, goes through into their nose and mouth and eyes, and that's how people are affected. So very important factor is to have a standard of hygiene in country.
I totally agree with you, Nandini, and a lot of work that, you know, the polio program, the Rotary polio program is actually called Polio Plus. 2 words together, with 2 capital P's, polio and plus. And the reason it's that is because it's not just about putting a vaccine in someone's arm or putting drops in someone's mouth. There is so much more to it. And that's why, you know, it's part of our story as Rotarians, and the Global Polio Eradication Initiative. A lot of the work is beyond just about polio. For instance, one of the trips that I've done to India to take part in the immunization days, it was about a health camp, while so many other areas were being addressed. You know, I've mentioned about Pakistan, where there's access to clean water was one of the key things. Sanitation, you know, I mean, I had a marvelous time in one of my other trips to India, where we were working with the children in the slums, and they were playing in the sewage, let alone anything else. You know,
I know
we
that.
all have to recognise that, and I think we sit in comfort in our own clubs in the UK at times and don't actually realise that Rotarians in these other countries, it's not just about raising money, it's about making an impact in so many other areas. And that's why our Rotary Foundation and our will be 7 from the 1st of July next year, our areas of focus are so important. So support our foundation financially and use our foundation to take money out to help with water and sanitation or basic education and literacy, so people know to come to the programme, with maternal and child health. There's so many more bits that we as Rotarians can do, and by working together we can do so much more. And aren't we proud to be a Rotarian?
And I think also have the government to be involved, government of that country.
Oh, absolutely. The governments of the world are absolutely key in the programme. And going back to your original question, Patrick, you know, Rotarians and the government in India work so closely to make mass immunisation days possible, and the work that's been done since, you know, Rotary really has a role, and that's why our advocacy at every level is such an important part of it as well.
We have DG Yon from District 9102 Ghana. She would like to speak a few words. DG Yon, please.
Thank you very much. I don't have a question. I'd just like to make a comment. Firstly, thank you so much, Jannine. This is so very much needed. As you know, not too long ago, Africa was declared wild polio free. We are still celebrating down here. We have an NID, that is Ghana. District 9102 is made up of 4 African countries, Niger, Benin, Togo, and Ghana. We have an NID on the 10th to the 13th of September. All the clubs, all the 107 clubs we have are going out to make sure we retain our status as polio-free within the district. And I just want to say thank you all to every one of you who's taken the time to come up here to show your support, and also to try and encourage our various districts to keep our status what it is. Thank you so much, and I look forward to the next webinar you hold. I'll definitely be on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yvonne. Could I ask you, please, could you send to me some information about that and some photos and some stories? Because actually stories of what Rotarians in other Rotary clubs in countries like yours are actually doing on the ground helps us to make it come home to Rotarians here and in other countries who say enough is enough, we've done what we're doing, we're not going to do that anymore. You know, you are vital to this. Let's have a real life stories and pictures from you, please. I really appreciate it.
I would appreciate it if you put your contact details up again. I'll just take a snapshot and we will keep you informed. Thank you so much.
I'm doing that now.
There you go. Thank you. Where's my camera? Got it.
And that's a UK number, +44.
Thank you very much.
Deepak Londe wanted to ask a question. Deepak bhai.
I'm Deepak from Rotary Club of Pune, India. At the outset, I would like to thank President Andrew and Rtn Suresh for inviting us to join this webinar. Jenny, your presentation was outstanding, excellent, quite informative. And there is double P, Polio Plus. I would like to add one more P, Polio Plus, but we are positive. You know, we in India, in our district, Rotary district, we are very much keen on that, and we give more important on awareness. Then, of course, vaccination is there. You know, we also conduct NID every year, and we give vaccination to maximum. But more than that, awareness is quite important, and I'm really impressed with your talk and hope to hear you in future. Thank you.
I agree with you. Awareness is very important.
Thank you very much, Deepak. If there's anybody from any other club or any other country and any other club that would like me to speak or reach out to me so that we can talk and explore ways of promoting our message, it is only by working together to end polio now. I'd love to. Thank you so much for everything you're all doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take one more question.
Yeah, we have Rotarian Ernest who wanted to ask a question. Kindly unmute and speak.
Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay. I want to thank you very much for the presentation. Now, I'm PAGNS Ashenua from Sapele Metropolitan, District 9141. Now, Africa is polio free, but you know, it takes a lot of work to take you to a position, and it takes more work to keep you there. So I think all effort now is to keep polio at zero. Then the government also should really get involved in this 100%, because getting to immunize the children, those children that are of immunizable age, getting to immunize them, a lot of work is involved. The government of African countries must ensure that as Rotary is doing all the sensitization, all the support must also be got, so that the families, the children will also be encouraged, the families will also be encouraged to ensure the children take this polio vaccine, because we must continue. So what I want to say in summary is that as of now, the struggle is to keep polio at zero. The government must get involved fully at this time, more than even before, because if we don't at this time, we might miss it. Thank you.
Right.
Can I just have a plea that those of you that are from countries in Africa, come and join us at our webinar on the 16th of September. It would be fantastic to have your input, etc. as well. So as I said, go to the End Polio GBI Facebook page and you'll find the link there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If you have questions to comment, you have the contact addresses of our secretaries, Suresh and Umesh, and we have all seen Jannine's contact. So please contact Jannine or contact us and we'll pass the message on to Jannine. I will now ask past President Vijay to give the vote of thanks.
Thank you, President Worley, for giving me an opportunity to present a vote of thanks. Thanks. First of all, I would like to thank the Rotary Club of Edgware and Stanmore for having accepted our request for a friendship exchange meeting. And I'm sure everybody has enjoyed. And I would also like to welcome all the Rotarians from across the globe from different districts. Jannine, I am sure everybody would agree that you have given us a right perspective about how the polio story began, how it moved about, and what we can expect from the future, and what is the way forward. I can assure you with that all the Rotarians from here would definitely be ready to support you for the future and how we proceed. We have even got Rotarians from Pakistan hearing this webinar sitting over here. So they would also be supporting, because Pakistan is one of the two countries that are pending. So thank you for giving a talk, and I will touch base with you so that we can have one of your talks in District 314 India also. Thank you, Jannine, and thank you from all of us for giving us a wonderful talk. Thank you very much. Thank you, President.
Thank you, Vijay.
Thank you. Thank you, Past President Vijay. President's report. Here at the Rotary Club of Edgware and Stanmore, we continue to monitor the impact of COVID-19 and adhere to government guidelines on expected behaviors, especially as the lockdown continues to be eased. Similarly, we're guided by the RGBI guidelines on planning activities, including projects and meetings. Those of us who attended other club meetings have recently joined in a hybrid meeting, which demonstrated a meeting model useful for when we consider our future meeting options. At this time also, we think of the people of Lebanon. The club has agreed to make a contribution to the District Governor's Fund to support the recovery in Beirut in the wake of the recent tragedy. Rotarian Suresh is leading our effort, and I urge everyone to respond to the vote on club contribution. That is, if you've not already done so. That is the report for this week. I will now invite President Tej Singh Ahedi, if he has joined us now, to do his report.
President Tej, kindly unmute and speak.
Are you there?
Yeah, he's there.
President Tej had joined, but probably he was driving and he was stuck in some traffic. So I think we should not wait for him. Let's go ahead.
Oh, he's caught in traffic.
Yeah, no, he's there, but he is not able to unmute. That's why, I think, because of the traffic.
He was driving.
All right, thank you. We'll move on. Hopefully he'll be able to join us before we finish. Visits to other clubs. All right. Who attended other club meetings?
I,
Rotarian Suresh.
as usual.
Yeah.
Thank you, President Andrew. Good evening, fellow Rotarians and guests from India, fellow Rotarian guests from India. Last week I attended the Thane Royal Club last week. Then I attended the Barbados Club, which they had on hybrid, which was quite interesting. Then the Rotary Club of Thane Meridian and the Rotary Club of Kanda, Accra Kanda, last week. And then on Monday, the bank holiday Monday, I was the speaker of the Rotary Club of Accra, and which was interesting. And then this meeting today. So thank you, President Andrew.
Thank you. Thank you. Who else went to any other meeting? Any others? No. I attended the meeting of the Accra Kanda Club in Ghana last Friday, and I must say there's a very interesting, they've got a collection, a whole playlist of Rotary songs, which they did, they played during the meetings at specific intervals. I think that's interesting, again, partly because of my personal liking for music. I think that was very good. The speaker gave a talk on music and the awards ceremonies, how they organized awards ceremonies, some of the difficulties, the things they encountered. And I think it was very, very interesting. But I will talk to the president again just to see if we can get some of the recordings. Thank you. Any more visits? No. Attendance. Is Rotarian Mike here, or Selwyn, are you going to do it?
Well, I can do it if you want.
Who? Suresh?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, in the absence of Mike, we were at one stage 71 71 attendees. And I did not make a note of the guest, but I have a verbal count in my mind. I think about 15 of our members.
No, we had 17, Suresh.
Sorry, 17. Okay.
17, and there were 76 people attending.
Okay, I got 71 for some reason. Okay, 76. Thanks, Tony.
Thank you. Right. I mentioned earlier you need your glasses. Now for the loyal toast. Please raise your glasses to the Queen. First to the Queen. The Queen. And to the Prime Minister of India.
Oh, yes.
India.
Mr. Modi.
Right. Also,
to the Prime Minister of India.
Birthday. We had a birthday on the 28th. Rotary and Danielle, happy birthday. And here's to you.
Here's to you, Danielle.
Happy birthday, Danielle.
Thank
Belated
you.
birthday, Daniel.
Is it wine or Coca-Cola?
I don't want to know that.
Mine's actually tea. In a couple of hours, it'll be wine.
Okay.
It'll be wine in a few hours. It's still a bit early here.
Okay. I'm PDG Kumar Keval Ramani from 3142. That is where the Vijay Keval Ramani comes from. Hello from India.
Okay. Thank you for the message. Right. Members' announcements. If you have any announcements to the club. Yeah. Any announcements? DG Selwyn.
Thank you, President Andrew, and welcome everybody from around the world. I have an announcement which is to repeat a request that I've made on club members, but actually extend it to everybody on the planet. Do let me know of people that you know who are carers, who are concerned about their mental health, or maybe just carers who are concerned about the world as it stands. We are running a project, an amazing idea of Rotary Safe Spaces. Edgware and Stanmore, it'll be Rotary Safe Spaces for carers. And it's there as an encounter group. It'll be facilitated properly by professional counsellors and psychotherapists, so that those that have concerns and they care for other people, they show a brave face to other people, they show self-confidence, but in reality, they, as all of us, are going through some really strange, extraordinary times. And I think the pressures are enormous on stress, anxiety, and fears. And so to address that, our club has initiated this project, and we're hoping that on the 24th of September, the same day as the launch of that polio idea, why not, we will at 2:30 have the first meeting for those who are concerned. As I say, it's a mental health project, but it's really about all of our considerations, concerns about the present and the future. And do let me know of those people that you feel can help, or those groups who look after carers who we can get in touch with to take this further. And there are other clubs who are interested in having their own Rotary Safe Spaces, maybe for other types of people with concerns, maybe self-employed people or teachers or staff at hospitals, whatever it may be. Do let me know, and I'll tell you the template and explain how you can set up in your club Rotary Safe Spaces. Let's make the world a better place as far as everybody's mental health is concerned. Thank you very much indeed, President Andrew. I'll also, just whilst I'm got the attention, finish off a project which we started only a few weeks ago, a few months ago, in the middle of this crisis of COVID, to try and support those clinics, NHS and hospices with scrub sets that they couldn't get through whatever means they tried. And so what we did is we encouraged people to come forward who were sewers, who had sewing machines, who were doing otherwise nothing else. We encouraged garment manufacturers to provide us with some what's known as cabbage spare material that they had, which for free we could repurpose and use for these purposes. And indeed, we got cutters and transport from our club and from all areas of the community to put together. And we've now manufactured 200 scrub sets. And I was speaking today to Ursula Reeve, who's the nursing officer at St. Luke's Hospice in Kenton. She's delighted by the use that they're making and the enjoyment they're having for those uniforms, which will save lives and certainly prevent concerns and worries about how exposed people are to COVID and people who have COVID. So that's just a report on the two running projects that I've been involved with recently, and I encourage other clubs in the rest of the world to get involved with those as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, DG Selwyn. Any other members' announcements?
Hello.
Yeah.
Greetings from Bangladesh. This is Rotary Past President Rezaul Karim, RI District 3282, Bangladesh.
Yeah.
Just say hello to you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other announcements? No? Okay, we'll move on. We come to the introduction of Rotarian guests. Rotarian Suresh and Rotarian Umesh will introduce and acknowledge and recognize the Rotarian guests. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I thought Umesh was talking first, but...
Please, I was waiting for you. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was waiting for you.
We'll get there eventually.
Okay, we had a number of overseas guests. Now, from our side, we had Deepak Pandai from the Rotary Club of Pune. We had Valnova Edwin from the Rotary Club of Freetown. We had our scholar Seiki Mariko from Japan, who I think have now left. James Ferres from the Rotary Club of Barbados. Amy Ying Hung Young from the Rotary Club of Sydney in the West. Henrietta Oppong from Rotary Club of Accra Kanda. Yesterday, Abatiwala from Rotary Club of Pune downtown. Nathaniel Amadzo from Accra Tesano. And Philip Gabu and Baptista Gabu from Tema Meridian. And I think that's all the guests from my side, overseas. And the local guest we had was Ken A.G. East from Rotary Club of Chingford, Valerie Eastman George from Rotary Club of Wembley, Julian Slawson from Rotary Club of London, and I think that is all, unless I have, Shanta Kumar from the Rotary Club of Wembley, and Captain Leonard Munsasinghe from the Rotary Club of Golders Green. I think those are all the guests from our side. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President, just one greetings from St. Martin. My name is James Ferris, past president, past assistant governor of the Rotary Club of St. Martin, not Barbados.
Sorry, I got you down to St. Martin. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's a pleasure being here with you this morning.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. Yes, Rotary Umesh.
Hello, friends. Today we had from our club, we had our president Tej. Tej, wherever you are, you can just say a hi. We also had past president Vijay Kevalramani, past president Pratik, Rotarian Yogesh, his father Yogesh, Rotarian Nandakumar Putane. We also had Rotarian. Apart from that, we had members from our district, which is RID 3142. Welcome, past district governor Kumarji. Welcome, past president Ranjana. Welcome, past president Gautam Thakur. Welcome, past president Chandrakant. Past president Ajay Kelkar. Past president Dr. Meenal. Past chief coordinator Dinesh Mehtaji. Past president Satish Maniji. We also had Rotarian Chandrakant. Past president Kedarnath Ghorpade. And we also had Rotarian Chandras Setti. And apart from that, from other than our district, we had Rotarian Sandhya Shastri, Rotarian past president Manoj Bhatt, past president Anjali Srivastava, past president Janti, past president Jayashri from Odisha, president Sanjana, past president Sushma Gupta ji from Jammu. This were from India, and other than India, we had a few guests. Rotarian Narai, past president Kim, president Evans, president Patrick, DG Yon, Rotarian Vivek Sharma, past president Adediran, president Philip Kibu, common guest, past president George Hemba, past president Saida, Rotarian Nana, and Rotarian David. And I'm sorry if I have missed someone. These are the people I could make a note of. Thank you.
We had President Francis, we have President David, we have past President Nakem, and we had past President Sayyeda from Pakistan.
Thank you very much.
I would like to make one correction. We are past President Manoj, myself, and past President Yanti. We are from Indonesia, not India.
Hello, Umesh?
Yeah.
We are from Indonesia. 5 of us has joined from Surabaya Club, Surabaya Central Indonesia.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. We have one more member from our club, Pratik Vidwans. I think
We had Pratik and Deepak Raja, 2 from our club.
Yeah, that was all. Deepak was already mentioned.
We're delighted to have all of you here. Rotary and Ronnie Preston, you want to make a comment? Please go ahead. Unmute yourself, please.
Hello?
Yeah,
Rotary,
Umesh?
please unmute yourself.
Can
you hear me? That's it. You're on.
Pratik, your attendance is noted. Thank you.
Thank you.
As perhaps the oldest member of the club, I just wanted to congratulate you, Mr. President, and Suresh on achieving this amazing experience of 71 people from different parts of the world being involved in a Rotary meeting. I just think it's sensational. We could never have dreamed of such a thing a few months ago. And COVID has had this terrible adverse effects. But the introduction of Zoom into these Rotary meetings has been an absolute revelation. To have so many clubs involved, I think was absolutely, I'm saying, as I said, the oldest member of the club, we could never have dreamed of such a thing, and I think you should be very, very proud that everybody has been there, and I must say this has been a great experience.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Can I add to Ronnie Preston's comment that I feel really chuffed at how all our international visitors every week, especially this week, speak our language, English, and have to work so hard, because we're very lazy in England and we just generally speak English in general. And it's overwhelming that all these different people who speak different languages. So thank you.
Thank you.
President Andrew, just one clarification. Yes. The overall peak attendance was around 84.
Sorry, say again?
Peak attendance was 84.
84?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sure we'll get the final figure at the end. Right.
It was amazing.
Thank you.
I've been keeping
The next Edgware and Stanmore meeting is next Wednesday, the 9th September at 1 o'clock on Zoom, as usual. And we have a speaker, and it's Dave talking about Mary's Meal. Rotarian President Tage and fellows of the Rotary Club of Thane Royals. We have made a bold move and set the scene for what I imagine would be a mutually beneficial relationship. The challenge for us is keeping up the momentum so that in time when the new landscape emerges, the benefits will be a testament to our continued effort and cooperation that will make us stronger both as individual clubs and the as a whole. Rotary International President Holger Nack talked about Rotary opening opportunities. This is our interpretation, and this moment is for us to take advantage of these opportunities. Thank you to our speaker, Jannine, for reminding us that while we rightly celebrate the success in the fight against polio, we should not become complacent, but rather continue the fight. A special thank you to our Rotarian guests for joining us this afternoon. We hope you've had a good experience and enjoyed spending time with us. As we look forward to joining you at our next meeting, if you can. As we part and go in several ways, have a great week, everyone. Stay safe and live as normal a life as you can. I will now ask immediate past President Angeli to give us the final thought.
Albert Schweitzer said, in everyone's life, at some time, our inner fire goes out. It is then burst into flame by an encounter with another human being. We should all be thankful for those people who rekindle the inner spirit. This quote makes me think of friendship, Rotary friendship, and how we've all come together and made the world so much smaller. Each of our friendships brings something new to our life, inspiring us to see the world in a totally different way, opening opportunities and giving us a new shoulder to lean on and a new supporter to keep us feeling proud and motivated. And this is why it is important to continue cultivating our friendship. And we look forward to having more friendship meetings with the Royal Club of Thane Royal. Thank you.
Thank you very much, immediate past President. Now for the final toast. To Rotary the world over, coupled with Valencia Central, the Rotary Club of Thane Royals, and all visiting Rotarians. The final toast. That brings us to the end of the meeting. Thank you very much.